Sony has a huge range of cameras available. There's everything from affordable compact cameras to high-end professional models. Whatever you have your heart set on, we're here to help you find the best Sony camera for you. The CyberShot RX10 IV is Sony's latest high-end bridge camera, aimed at the enthusiast who wants an advanced all-in-one camera that doesn't compromise on performance. It wasn't long ago that bridge cameras were a dirty word in photography. They may have looked like DSLRs, but their performance and image quality were anything but. But, thanks to the likes of the original CyberShot RX10, with its 1-inch sensor, that all changed. 4 generations on we arrive at the RX10 IV, and while at first glance it may appear that little has changed from the RX10 III, Sony has furnished its latest camera with a host of new features. Packing a long, fast zoom lens, large sensor, and performance that, on paper at least, would make some advanced DSLRs blush. Is this the ultimate bridge camera? Such an extreme focal length introduces a serious risk of camera shake when you're shooting, and to compensate, the RX10 IV features Sony's built-in optical steady-shot image stabilization system to enable the use of shutter speeds 4.5 stops slower than would normally be required to achieve a sharp shot. The RX10 IV keeps the same 2.35 million EVF, but the arrival of the new Bionic X processor means display lag during continuous shooting has been improved. The 3.0-inch tilt-angle display has also been revised, with resolution getting a modest boost to 1.44 million dots, while touch functionality is now featured, with touch focus supported. The RX10 IV also becomes the latest RX series camera to offer 4K movie recording at 24/30p, while Sony reckons its fast hybrid AF system offers focusing speeds twice as fast as the RX10 III when shooting video. If you're happy with 1080p footage, this can be captured at up to 120 fps, while S-Log2/S-Gamut2 and S-Log3/S-Gamut3 are also supported. The RX10 IV can also capture a 720p stream alongside the 4K footage to help speed up editing. The Alpha A7 III sits on the bottom rung of Sony's full-frame mirrorless camera range, and is designed to appeal to both keen enthusiast photographers and professionals. It's no surprise to see 4K video capture on the Alpha A7 III. Recording in 24p, the full width of the sensor is used, with full pixel readout and without pixel binning. This sees around 6K of data collected, before the footage is then oversampled to produce what Sony says will be 4K footage with exceptional detail and depth. If you want to shoot at 30p, there's a 1.2x crop option that uses roughly 5K of the sensor. As we've seen with the Alpha A7R III, the Alpha A7 III offers a new HLG profile that supports an instant HDR workflow, allowing HDR-compatible TVs to play back 4K HDR footage. As well as this, both S-Log2 and S-Log3 are available for increased color grading, while if you want to shoot full HD footage you can do so at up to 120 fps. The Alpha A7 III sports 2 SD card slots, but, again like the Alpha A7R III, only one of these supports faster UHS 2 cards. There's also Wi-Fi and NFC connectivity to enable you to transfer images, but no Bluetooth. The 5-axis in-body image stabilization system in the Alpha A7 III has also been tweaked, and now provides 5 stops of stabilization, improving slightly on its predecessor's 4.5 stops. Sony's EPIC Hybrid AF technology takes another step forward too, with 567 phase detection AF points spread across 74% of the image area and 325 contrast AF points. It now offers real-time AF tracking in its movie mode too. Video performance gets a boost with the addition of real-time AF, but otherwise it does feel as if Sony is resting on its laurels somewhat. There's still no 50/60p 4K video capability, nor 10-bit capture, and if you want the best oversampled quality you need to use the Crop Super 35 mode. You can capture full HD at up to 120 fps and, arguably, the A7R IV is hardly a video specialist. Nevertheless, it does feel as if the video capabilities have not really advanced significantly. Sony says its 5-axis in-body stabilization system has been tuned for this new camera to offer up to 5.5 compensation, and A7R IV's pixel shift multi-shooting mode can merge 16 shots made with tiny pixel shifts between each to produce 240MP images, if you have static subjects, sufficient storage capacity and the required Sony Imaging Edge 2.0 software. The A7R Mark IV does bring wireless tethered shooting capability, though the large files and limited wireless data bandwidth means you're still likely to be better off with an old-fashioned cable connection. The A7R IV isn't a camera you can just pick up and use. You have to learn how it's set up, where to find the functions you need and how to program it to work the way you like. If you like tinkering and personalizing, you'll probably love it. If you like your cameras to be logical and obvious, it's a different story. The key piece of tech at the heart of the Alpha A9, and one that's had a knock-on effect on the performance of other components, is the 24.2 MP full-frame stacked CMOS sensor. While it has substantially fewer pixels than the 42.2 MP Alpha A7R II, it does offer a slight resolution advantage over the 20-odd megapixels of the Canon 1DX Mark II and Nikon D5, but it's the architecture of the chip that's the key element here. The stack design means the integrated DRAM memory modules, a high-speed processing circuit and the Bion's X image processing engine are all lined up behind the image sensor. This design has allowed Sony to push the data through the sensor, not around it, resulting in a sensor that reads data 20 times faster than would otherwise be possible, enabling the Alpha A9 to shoot at a blistering 20 fps for 241 RAW files or 362 JPEG images. The stacked sensor design also means the Alpha A9 and can perform an impressive 60 AF/A tracking calculations per second. Designing the sensor this way doesn't just have performance benefits, it should also deliver better noise performance, thanks to the light gathering elements of the photosites being closer to the surface of the sensor. The Alpha A9 features a broad native ISO range of 100 to 51,200, and this can be expanded to 50 to 204,800. That said, for those who shoot regularly in low light, the likes of the D5 offer an extra 4 stops on the A9 here, with an expanded ISO ceiling equivalent to 3,280,000. While the first 5 RX100 models maintained a relatively restrained zoom range and a wide maximum aperture, the RX100 Vi swapped it for a lens equivalent to 24 to 200 mm in 35 mm terms, and the RX107 retains this optic. The fact that Sony squeezed this lens into a body no larger than before was impressive, but the trade-off was a reduction in maximum aperture. The lens has aspherical, advanced aspherical and extra low dispersion glass on the inside to help keep things rosy, while optical steady shot technology has also been included to keep things stable. It's very unusual for a camera to have the same sensor resolution throughout 7 consecutive models, however, the sensors haven't been the same this whole time, and it's no surprise that the RX107 has been blessed with a new one, albeit one that still conforms to the same 1-inch dimensions and stacked architecture as before. Indeed, this is one of the big shifts from the RX100 Vi, and brings what Sony claims to be performance in terms of speed that's on a par with its A9 model, which is still the flagship mirrorless camera in the Alpha family. What does that mean in figures? It means 60 autofocus and auto exposure calculations per second, which allows for burst shooting at 20 fps with autofocus and auto exposure working throughout, without any blackout of either the viewfinder or the LCD. While that's impressive enough, if you're willing to sacrifice adjustments to autofocus and auto exposure and call on the single burst shooting drive mode, you can shoot images at 30 fps, 60 fps or a ridiculous 90 fps at their full resolution. The other catch is that all of these modes can only be used to capture 7 frames at a time.